Okay, so recording in progress, and also we've reached to Facebook. So those of you on Facebook, those of you who are on Zoom, and probably more who are watching the recorded version, then our greetings to you and obeisances to you. And I am in Vaishnava, what's it called, Vaishnava Bhavan or Vaishnava?
Yes, Vaishnava Bhavan.
Okay, I'm in a new building called Vaishnava Bhavan here in Govinda Farm in Thailand. And Leela Moy Prabhu is hosting it, and he is in Chintamani Dham on Govinda Farm in Thailand. And that is not a picture painted on the wall behind him. That is Krishna's art. It is the view through the window. And Shyama Priya Devi Rasi there, and probably more, because this is the kitchen and savor area for washing up after breakfast and for presently starting to cook again for lunch. So we're here in Govinda Farm. Bhima Krishna has just been with us. Rupa Nugapu has just been with us for the festivals. And you've all been with us. Harini Devi Rasi, I know you've been with us for the festivals by heart. Seva Rupa Devi Rasi also. And Basil, repeatedly with us, and very happy to have your association here, to have you with us. And Muktinath Prabhu, oh, Muktinath Prabhu, he's here. And that is a picture from the Himalayas. So let us begin. Muktinath Prabhu also in Chintamani Dham, in another place in Chintamani Dham. All right, so let's chant our mini Vandana. It may be small, but it contains everything. And then we'll continue and we'll see then. By then, we'll see who is on Facebook also, I hope. So, Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Pada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sarvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Saha Ganalalita Shri Vishapan Vitanscha Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Vijay Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. So I'm just going to see if I can get back to basics. back to basics classes. Live. Okay, let's see who is with us. All right, so those of you who were with us on Facebook, Zoom, and recorded, our obeisances and our welcome. So it is back to basics, and just a mini wind back in history that the back to basics classes began in Navadip Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math in probably the year 2010. Yes, after, I don't know if after or before Srila Gurudev's disappearance. Before his disappearance, we started the back to basics. And first of all, it was really going to be 1 or 2 classes in Navadip so that the devotees, you can say, as they say in the modern world, get up to speed of what is devotional service, to know the basis of devotional service, the basis of our family of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, and Srila Prabhupada, and to get to know like the basic things to do. Use your right hand for eating, starting with the very basics. So it started off just really a fairly minimal idea that will give the basics of devotion life. And then we say, then the devotees wanted a follow-up, because we can only basically touch one theme or two themes per gathering of devotees. We would meet not actually in the temple of Chaitanya Saraswati Math, because that's always reserved for directly the Hari Katar, etc. But for classes and things, we would be slightly not directly in front of the temple. And for back to basics, we started this in the Seva Ashram beside Govinda Kund upstairs. In the corridor, it has wide corridors and they're well ventilated, so it gets some air. And anyhow, devotees wanted more, so it began by the request of the devotees, and it made sense, you can say, that yes, we don't know what everybody knows, so we should try to be basically, so we've got a foundation for us all of what's expected of us and what we are doing, why have we come here. So it did start in Navadip, and different devotees say that it wasn't them that came up with the name of the back to basics classes, but two or three devotees are the prime suspects that they came up with that. But when I say in a gathering, oh, they came up with the name, they always pass it to somebody else. Oh, no, it was them. But anyway, the devotees came up with the name of back to basics. So this happened in Navadip. This is the point. And in Navadip, then we would discuss the basics. And then in due course of time, it wasn't continuing because everyone goes to different places and many things happened in 2011, 2012, and then everyone's not in the mat. Very few Westerners are there and coming and visiting and going. And then for myself, traveling, meeting devotees from 2014 through till COVID. And then in COVID, then the request came up again and this was from California. One of the devotees in California said, oh, we heard that you did back to basics in Navadip. I said, yes. He said, well, can we do this on the internet? Can we do this over Zoom? And this is where I first heard about Zoom. So COVID woke us up to Zoom because we're locked down, and then devotees are saying they still want to come together. So back in 2020, when we're locked down here in Thailand, here in Govinda Farm in Thailand, then this is where the back to basics started again. And probably Leela Moy has the record. I think he's got a record of all of the back to basics classes, maybe from the beginning until now. So this Govinda Farm, it is the home, the origin of the Zoom version of back to basics. And I was thinking about this the other day because I used to be in another place, a wooden rice hut up on stilts nearby here, and Bhima Krishna saw it recently. Rupa Nugapu knows where it is. It's where Suyash Krishna and his family were staying this time. And so that was that, and underneath that, which was a little bit my office during that time, because it's absolutely open and it's shaded, and so you get nature's natural air cooling us down. So that was where we started the back to basics. And then this year, reflecting about the back to basics, because we had different classes in the bamboo house, which also is under another house. The bamboo house is upstairs, the accommodation, and underneath is the open area, absolutely open, but well shaded, so it's reasonably cool when it's hot. But there, various discussions, various topics, etc. And then we're talking with devotees naturally, in between the kind of timed programs. And in some cases, I was surprised how little the devotees knew about what is our Krishna consciousness. And that doesn't mean any of you here, but it does mean that we sometimes assume devotees know everything. We think devotees know who's our family. They know what is Krishna consciousness. They know the four regulative principles. They know, the ABC. But we take it for granted a little, in the sense of people come and we're thinking they're being trained up by others, but we find that really they've come and perhaps they've been more attracted by the people and haven't really gone into the philosophy, or to what is it we're meant to do when we're a devotee in the line of Gurudev and Guru Maharaj. So I was reflecting on this, but then only when we are on our walk and talk and having an opportunity to be informally with devotees do we kind of find where the missing information, like the missing parts of what devotees don't know is. So it's a difficult question when you've got a gathering of devotees in front of you to ask, okay, what don't you know? What don't you know? And in particular, here is one devotee, and really they were so grateful for every class, basically. And we were talking, walking and talking, and he kind of so much appreciated. And then, he basically said, well, actually, we don't know what we don't know until somebody tells us. Anyhow, with this background, I'm now going to ask all of you who are familiar, with many things in devotional life. We're going to ask you, okay, so Sri Govindapam means Leela Moy Prabhu. He's put a link in the chat box to the back to basic classes. Does that include number 1? And
Yes.
2 and 3? Okay.
Yes, it's organized by playlists. It's very easy to find.
Okay, I think I need to go there and join the back to basics classes from the beginning. I mean, really. And this morning itself, and not meditating on back to basic classes, but this morning itself, then the devotees, they're doing nicely the puja, and then doing the jais with the sheet. The Jai Saparika Shri Guru Gauranga Gandhava Govinda Sundar. But I didn't ask who was saying, but almost all of us don't know everything on that sheet that we're saying. But we have gone through these topics in back to basics before. And I was thinking this morning, it must be there on the early classes, somewhere in the early classes, with an accompanying PDF, because I remember making the word by word for akaramat and saparika and various words that come up, sapashada, and we made a list of like the meaning of these jais. That must be somewhere. Anyhow, so this is just a background of thinking this week. And so now I'm going to ask you all who do know many things, what don't you know, which you would like to have clarified, or something that you maybe learned recently, which you thought, why didn't anybody tell me this years ago when I was first a devotee? So now silence, you can think, oh no, I know everything. Oh, okay. Me too. That's the danger, isn't it, when we think we know everything. Hare Krishna. Yes, Sevarupa. Don't wake everybody up, but we can't hear you. Your microphone is turned on. but I can only see your lips move. And the only thing I know from deaf and dumb people is Hare Krishna. Hare, oh no, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. But that's not truly our sampradaya, but that's how one method works. But Sevarupa, have you got a microphone plugged in, or you got a Bluetooth headphones plugged in or something that you don't know about? Not working. Maybe use your fingers and type in the chat box. And in the meantime, 2 more chats have popped in. Oh, Sevarupa, I think it's my computer. It's a problem. Okay. Okay, in the meantime, you prepare your question. I'm going to ask Ishtadevika. Bimala Krishna Prabhu, he came home. What have you learned or heard or something yourself?
So much from watching all the classes there and everything. But a small thing in particular that's sort of like a basic that I had somehow forgotten throughout the years when we were watching Sita's initiation with Gurudev, and then he talks about chanting the Panchatattva mantra 3 times on the bead before moving on to chant your rounds. And somewhere along the years, I had switched to just always doing it once and forgotten that I'm supposed to be doing it 3 times. So watching that initiation was very helpful and very sweet, and just a small thing. It brought back a lot of memories of my own initiation, which was only a month or 2 after meeting Gurudev for the first time. I had just turned 18, and I hadn't heard him speak very much yet, so I could barely understand anything he was saying. And I was so nervous, and I was trying so hard, and I just remember like, oh, I wish I knew what he was saying to me right now. And then years later, when I was in the sewing room with Shwarnangi, I used to help her sew for the small deities on the altar there. And she had all these cassette tapes of Gurudev's classes, like years worth. And so we would listen to those while we were sewing. And so after many times of hearing, I was able to, and being around him a bit more time, I was able to understand him much better. And one day we were in there sewing and we were listening to an initiation, and I could hear everything he was saying. And I just remember thinking like, oh, this is so great, because I'm like hearing what I missed at my own initiation and really understanding what he's saying. And then we got to the end and he said the name, and it was my name. So I was actually listening to my own initiation without realizing it. So it was just like such a beautiful, amazing blessing that came through Shwarnangi in that service and Gurudev. And anyways, that was something else that I remembered watching Sita's initiation. Anyways, but yeah, but that somehow 3 times turned into 1 throughout the years. So I'm back to doing it 3 times again, thanks to watching Sita's initiation.
Jai. And a couple of things. I've been in, you can say, many initiations by Gurudev and by Guru Maharaj. And actually, I mean, just to say, Gurudev did say, chant 3 times the Panchatattva Mahamantra and then chant Hare Krishna. But he did not always say it. Just so you know, sometimes they say, first you chant the Panchatattva Mahamantra and then chant. So, but we understand that it is good to chant 3 times, and whether he specifically said it at your initiation or not, only you know, or only that recording knows if you hear that recording. But often he did say 3 times, but sometimes he didn't actually say. I noted it myself. And a question came up, and this came up in the correspondence, in the letters, and a devotee asked to Gurudev, should we chant the Panchatattva Mahamantra before every round? And sometimes we think, oh, we know what Gurudev is going to answer. And I thought Gurudev was going to answer yes, but he didn't. He said, no, each time that we're going to start to chant our japa, we will chant. We chant the Panchatattva Mahamantra, but we can continue to chant. I just share that with you because still it's not that don't chant the Panchatattva Mahamantra before chanting a round. We can do it, but I used to think that it was before every round we would chant the Panchatattva Mahamantra. So I just share that with you because it's fact. I mean, it happened. And another thing very beautifully you reminded me of too is that I heard my own initiation by Guru Maharaj also some time later, not immediately later. And there I consciously noted. In fact, I noticed when Guru Maharaj told me, but when he gave me the initiation, but in the recording, it was very clear. And Guru Maharaj said, chant the Panchatattva Mahamantra, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. And sometimes we hear that with the Shri and sometimes with the Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, and sometimes we don't. So that was just something I got confirmation because sometimes devotees, they say to me, why are you saying the Shri? And I generally keep quiet, but because Guru Maharaj said that, and then I got confirmation by hearing it, almost like saying, see, told you so, Guru Maharaj said, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. And for those of you with Gayatri Mantra, by the way, I know Guru Maharaj sometimes put the Shri in the Guru's mantra. He would say Shri Gurave, and sometimes not, just Gurave. So that I know it. Hare Krishna. And we've been in many initiations, so we're happy. And it was absolute coincidence that was Sita's initiation. We were trying to find a date which was equivalent to the date that, whatever day that was, if we were there. And then Kumkum, in her wisdom, she called Sita and said, oh, we are watching your initiation now. Very sweet. And Sita answered, and they were very happy. Hare Krishna. The recordings are amazing, how we can really sit with Guru Maharaj. We can really sit with Gurudev. I mean, really means almost. And especially when we know they're not only talking to who is in front of them. They're talking to the world. And in Srila Guru Maharaj specifically allowing the recordings so they would be prepared and published. So he's speaking so that they will be prepared and published. And hence we've got Search for Sri Krishna, Sri Guru and His Grace, and several books in this way, made from the recordings. And Veda Vyas, it's made from recordings of Veda Vyasa. The Vedas means Veda Vyasa's speech. He wasn't sitting with a computer. He wasn't sitting with a pen and paper or any equivalent. He was speaking. It was Ganesh who was writing down. So that's like Ganesh with headphones on, recording, putting down what he's saying. But it was a different time when you didn't have to replay, because when we don't catch something, we know we replay that last 30 seconds again and again and try to catch it carefully. But Ganesh, got big ears, he's an elephant head. And he is hearing Vedavyas, Krishna Dvaipayan Vedavyas. He's hearing him speak and he's writing it down, the scribe. And you may know that Guru Maharaj described that Vedavyas, he wanted a scribe, somebody who will write down what he says. With some consultation, then he comes and asks Ganesh, because he's very capable, and asking Ganesh to do so. And Ganesh, considering the request, oh, thank you very much. Okay, I'll do it, but I'll do it on one condition. And then Vyasadeva, oh, okay, what's the condition? Name your condition. And then he said that I don't have to wait. When you speak, I'll just write continuously. And if I have to wait while you're thinking and coming up with the things, and I'm just sitting there doing nothing, said, no, I'll stop writing at that time. Then Vedavyas thought, okay, there's a challenge. So he agreed, but Vedavyas agreed on one condition too, and said to Ganesh, okay, I agree, but from your side, whatever you write down, you must understand. You have to understand it and then write it, not just to write. What I'm saying. You have to understand it and put it down. And Guru Maharaj told that, and then Ganesh agreed. Okay, I'll do that. Then Guru Maharaj told that sometimes within the scripture, there are some very complicated verses. And they're there deliberately from Vedavyas to slow down Ganesh, because he's got to think of the meaning. So while Ganesh, with his elephant head and big elephant brain and everything else, is working it all out, then it's, little time for a breather for Vedavyas, for continuing what he's going to say. Hare Krishna. So anyway, Guru Maharaj and Gurudev, they are talking to the world by their speech, and it is the Veda which is coming out from their mouths. Just see. Even in their informal talks, it's Veda. And this, then we can get a little bit of a glimpse of how Srila Gurudev said about Srila Guru Maharaj reading the newspaper. Said his reading the newspaper is the same as his reading the Veda, because he's seeing the Krishna conscious side of everything, and he's doing out of savor to read. And not that everybody is going to read in the temple. The temple manager, the temple head, will keep up to date with some news because it is necessary, but not that everyone is going to be reading the newspaper, etc. And Gurudev told this quite sharply to one leading sannyasi of our mission too, when he wanted to read the newspaper. And he said, Guru Maharaj used to read. And Gurudev can be very cutting. I mean, really, what he says is powerful. And he said to that sannyasi, yes, but you are not Guru Maharaj. The sannyasi understood it and left the newspaper. I know Zoom cuts out noise, but I have to close the door because there are two machines here in the rice fields. They're cutting the weeds on the banks, I think, but it's making it difficult for me, at least. Maybe Zoom, you don't hear them, but I do. So just give me a moment, I'll come back. Any of you can speak and you can ask. You can contribute, but give me one moment, I'll come back. Seva Rupa. Oh, you can't speak. Okay. Somebody can read what Seva Rupa's put in the chat box. Bhima Krishnamurti, please read it, then I'll hear while I'm closing the door. Kindly.
Dandavat Maharaj, Dandavat to everybody. Missing you all. So it says, I was attracted to BBBC during COVID because I was looking to understand the basics. And 5 years later, I'm still so grateful to be learning the basics. Dandavat. I would add to that. I think the same thing. I was in the original Back to Bhakti Basics, at least some classes on the Govinda Kun guest house veranda there. And I'm still also learning the basics. And I think that's the important thing is, you know, we might read something 20 years ago or, 15 years, 10, 5, whatever. Even I was studying the 10 offenses to the holy name, a few months ago or whatever it is. And I just cannot retain anything. But I just think that's the whole importance of it, is just to keep going back to these things and to refresh them in our minds and keep them present. Dandavat. Man, so happy to see you all. Really, this is super sweet. I've missed you all, going through some withdrawals. I still have weird hazy dreams at night that I'm half in Thailand and somewhere here. I don't know. It takes me a minute to wander into my bathroom at night because I don't know where I'm at. Anyways, not to get distracted, but so happy to see you all. Anyway, feeling some separation for sure. But yeah, back to Bhakti Basics. I remember learning the 10 offenses of the holy name, the 10 offenses to the holy Dham, sitting on, the veranda there and with everybody clear way back then. And I'm still learning these things. I just think it's important. Today I woke up early and I went out and chanted all the morning kirtans just to, I hope by next year I don't have to carry a book around, and that these are something that I'll finally retain, because even just the kirtans and the aratis and, these are all things it's really good to know them, and I don't know all of them. I don't stay in a temple most of the time, so I don't, that repetition isn't there, but I want to try to keep doing that every morning and just go and sing through them and try to retain and remember those too. So, I think Guru Maharaj says we're all always a student, always a student. So we can continually learn. We're going to forget things. I retain things. I lose everything as soon as I know it. I feel like I lose it. So anyway, constantly trying that. But anyway, my Dandavats, I'm missing you all. So happy to see you. And my Dandavats.
Dandavat Prabhu. And yes, a good reminder that you were there in Navadip Chaitanya Saraswat Math beside Govinda Kund in those early back to basics. So there we are. We have original pillars from the back to basics. And you mentioned that you want to learn the regular morning songs, etc. And also we need to learn with the meaning. And this morning, it's the month of Kartik, and this morning we were using this website, kirtan.site. And while singing the 100 names of Mahaprabhu, then we're only a few people here, so I had this on here, but they have on their books all the Bengali. And so what I did was, because we learned some things while we were here, how to use digital things, clicked here at the top, and then so it only shows the translation, and then made the translation big, so that with each verse that they're singing in Bengali, I was showing only the translation, so that while singing the Bengali, they can see what is being said, what is being sung. So this was kind of a little experiment, if you like, this morning, because now we can show either only the translation or only the Bengali or the regular Bengali and translation side by side by clicking the little boxes at the very top of each kirtan. So that's kirtan.site. And this was one of the practical things we shared with Suyash Krishna Prabhu, who's a very brainy digital designer. He shared good things with us here. And yes, yesterday morning we read the translation after doing the singing and everything. We read the translation for Kali Kukura Dana Jadi Jayo Hai. Oh, dear mind, you miserable dog of Kali. And then remind us what we're saying. Maybe a happy tune, but look what's being said inside the kirtan. Hare Krishna. And Sevarupa has put Vaishnavu Jesemu Gramata Kirtan site. Oh, that's Latvian. You've given us the Latvian for those here, like Sevarupa, who may want the Latvian version. We have Latvian, I think, Australian, Latvian, Russian, and Spanish, and maybe Italian, different books are there. Okay, well, here at Govinda Farm, we actually have representation with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of our windows. I'm here, sorry. And also Govinda Farm with Leela Sundar Prabhu and Shyama Priya Devi Rasi and Aparajita Devi Rasi. And then in the big house on the top of the hill, Paramananda Prabhu is there. And somebody's forehead is there. Is that Indulekha? Have to make it bigger. Yes, Indulekha, that I can see. It was just we can only see the top of your head, Indulekha Devi Rasi. I had to put a pin in. Then we could see. But the more of you were there just now. Krishna Priya was there. But everybody's busy. Yes, everyone's busy. Hare Krishna. So, any question from anybody, first of all? No.
Maharaj, I have a question, if it's
Yes.
okay. I'd like to hear what's been happening since I left. Because each day I'm curious how the programs are going on, who is still there. Like, I know Govardhan, today is Govardhan Puja for us, and I know it would have been yesterday for you, but I'm just curious, maybe you can share, or somebody there, Leela Moy Prabhu, or I think, is he still holding my t-shirt? Are you snuggling my t-shirt, Prabhu? My work shirt blew off the railing outside and landed in a big mud puddle. It mysteriously disappeared, but I told them they could keep that nasty shirt when I left. So anyway, I'd love to hear what's happening there, just for my own satisfaction, if I could be so bold. But anyway, if anyone would like to share, I know maybe that's not the question you're looking for, Maharaj, but I'd love to hear.
It's all good. It's all good because it's all with the basics. So who would like to share what we just have been doing? So Leela Moipu, your name came up just now. What did we do yesterday and what did we do this morning?
Dandava Pranams, all of you. So, Bimal Krishna Prabhu, without you here, it's very hard. We miss you so much. We had some fun yesterday. We cut some bamboos, we burned some bamboos, and without you, very sad. Was the end of our day yesterday, but before, we had a huge feast here celebrating Govardhan Puja. We did our morning program yesterday. We did our morning program, and at 11:15, we start our celebration for the Govardhan Puja. And we had a beautiful program with Madhusudan Maharaj, Keshavananda Prabhu, Paramananda Prabhu. And we did, after the program, we did Abhishek of Giriraj. And he had a good bathing. Everyone came and did their part of bathing. We did amazing Abhishek. It was really special. And the kitchen crew was here cooking. The kitchen crew did 17 preparation, big feast. And after the program, we did this seva, this amazing seva honoring Prashad, and was very hard seva. And we finished our Prashad and seva there in the lunchtime. And in the evening, we had this amazing program. We start our Govardhan Hill Parikrama, and Keshavananda Prabhu and Madhusudana Maharaj guide us for the first half of the parikrama at yesterday evening. We did amazing. We visited really amazing places. And today in the morning, in our morning program, we did the other half of the parikrama with Madhusudana Maharaj, Keshavananda Prabhu, and Paramananda Prabhu guiding us for the last part of the parikrama. And more or less, was the Govardhan Puja celebration that we have this here, and yesterday and today.
And when we came back from the half parikrama this morning, and everyone very exhausted and tired, mentally and physically, I mean, only mentally they traveled around, but their feet were sore, everything else. And then it was time to continue with Prashadam Seva again. And so we also continued yesterday's feast. Hare Krishna. Yes, Shama Priya.
Dandavad to all the devotees. I would like to add a little thing from my side, that it's going to be a transfer of our altar back to house, but several days we postponed it and decided to make Govardhan Puja in Kirtan Shala as before, but now we have to transfer, and we really miss Bimal Krishna Prabhu for this huge seva. And we think how to do all of that now without him, and remembering his help here a lot. And yeah, also we missed all the devotees because our kitchen crew felt like we have Ananta Koti Vaishnavas here and they prepare such grand feast, so nobody could take dinner prasadam after lunch. Huge feast, and only dinner, maybe some water and raita and nothing. Like, it was really hard seva this time. Yeah, very sweet team stayed here now, and we more close. You have more possibilities to serve to this beautiful area. We all can take part in cleaning the area, some gardening part with the bamboo or weeds or anything. And I'm very happy to stay here for this time and help somehow. But really miss you all, and happy that we are staying in contact in the Zoom with you all. And
Paramananda Prabhu, yourself and Krishna Priya Devirasi making everything happen along with the team of devotees. A few words. We were reflecting earlier on the history of back to basics and how it was revived in digital form right here at the Govinda farm 5 years ago in digital form.
Dandavad.
We can hear you.
Yes, Maharaj, I'm thinking. I'm back into my managing mood. I switched it off for the time of the festival. Now it's on, so many things are coming to my mind. What to do and where to do and when to do. And I wanted everything to be done yesterday, but you know how it works.
Well,
we do
today
need-
is yesterday for tomorrow.
Right. So we do need a lot of, there is a lot of seva opportunities here. And if you want to do a real back to basics, start from practical seva. That's always the best. That's what every bhakta will go through when they just join a temple or a society. They will be sent on different errands, and since morning till the evening, you will be completely exhausted with just enough strength to participate in the program, then collapse, then wake up again, go to the morning program, get inspired, have a nice breakfast, nice khichdi, and then again the service. So that was my bhakta program when I just joined the Vaishnava society. And very happy days. Good to remember. And as we keep going, certain things we're forgetting about. But really, the foundation of the back to bhakti basics is always devotion. Devotion, acceptance, surrender, a proper mood, so many things. So Govinda Maharaj pointing out that we should always check our mood for today. And during the day, check a few times if you're doing it in the proper mood, if your set of mind is auspicious for developing of bhakti and not inauspicious. And then you just go on. So that is our back to bhakti basics, like individual back to bhakti basics programs every day. And the more you serve, the more realization will come. You're not going to waste your energy. No, you're going to deposit it into your permanent Sukriti account. Even, devotees, they're not even concerned with that. It's all about devotion. Just want to do things for Krishna, do things for the devotees. See things happening, and they're regretting a wasted moment. If you're just idle, you sit there. And sometimes we have to understand too and remember that sometimes taking a break is also service. So that you can continue. So whatever you heard in back to bhakti basics since the very beginning, and now we're nearing the 600th digital version of that, try to utilize in your life. And we also heard from our guardians that hearing means acting. If you just keep listening and doing nothing, that means this is not happening. Hearing is not happening properly. But if you're listening and then it turns into action, positive action, service engagement, with the proper mood, with devotion, then yes, you actually been listening. So it is that much connected with each other. Simple things. Krishna consciousness is very simple, in a way. The only problem is the ego. And you see all those t-shirts everywhere. Like even just, they're not devotees who are making those t-shirts. They've been forever on the market. No ego, no problem. Even like, in the secular world, they figure it out. If you want to do something progressive, just leave your ego behind. Then you may be able to do that. But in a devotional world, ego is an obstacle. And it's huge and it's very powerful. Govinda Maharaj said it's not a tiny thing. Ahankara is the size of the universe. Our ego has this unique quality. It can expand into the size, the feel of the universe we're living in, by putting our interest in the middle, in the center of that. But by the grace of the Vaishnavas, we can cross that mountain, seemingly infinite mountain of ego. It can be crossed with the grace of the devotees. Enter the service engagement with devotion. I think that will be a good result of back to bhakti basics. And after 600 plus, I think we should see some good results manifesting. That's an expectation.
We do. Wonderful devotees. Very practical. And yes, here's Indulekha, and a practical applier of all of this, Indulekha Devidasi.
Um, my mom told me that when we lived in my grandparents' house that my grandfather built himself, we had like a cellar that was like in the dirt underneath the floor, where they kept like potatoes and different things so they keep cool. And it was really dark. But there was like a little hole in the floor, and somehow the light from the window went into the hole and into that dark cellar, and this dandelion grew inside of the darkness. And it was big too, like really fat, good dandelion growing there in the cellar. So back to basics kind of reminds me of this light that even when I'm like in the darkest, loneliest place in my life, I can always turn on the broadcast and I will be healthy and happy in an environment that is super not conducive to that. So, and it saved me many times, and I'm really grateful. But back to basics.
And we are all grateful for the company of each other. And this is something again and again that we felt during the physical presence here, the physical Govinda Farm festivals that have been taking place. And we are grateful online and in person to have this kind of a gentle, honest community of devotees searching for reality, the beautiful, that happens to be the cause of everything.
I have a question for Ishta Devi Maharaj.
Beauty and love is the supreme origin of everything. Let us remember that. This is our journey. Yes, you have a question for Ishta Devika. Is it the same question I asked her? Let us see.
I don't know, but well, she was participating actively from a distance online. And also she made a huge sacrifice by sending her husband and taking all the household chores on herself, and 3 kids, and beautiful kids, by the way. Bimal, thanks for the photo. Absolutely adorable kids and good-hearted, I can see already. So I want to hear from her experience of the festival from a different perspective.
Jai.
It was really beautiful. My Dandavats to you all, Dandavat Pranams. It was hard to be away. Like, I definitely hope to be there in person with you all next year. But it was really beautiful to try to keep up with the classes and just, there was definitely some sacrifices and some challenges here, but just remembering, that it, it was all Krishna's will. And I think it was really good for all of us, individually, as well as a family, as a couple. Like, there was so much nourishment coming to him there, and then coming back to us, and all of the challenges that we faced, which were definitely there for all of us in different ways, definitely helped us grow. So I'm really grateful for that, and grateful for all of your association from afar, and can't wait to have your direct association in person as well. But yeah, that's just shared a couple little details earlier too, just of some of the things, but the things that kept coming up over and over were just remembering that Krishna is everywhere, always, throughout our days, and also just sorry. I had a lot of times of just memories of Gurudev coming up too, just from hearing other people's experiences and stories, and so that was really special. And one specific one that came to me that I haven't shared yet was when Gurudev was visiting SoCal, And I went there directly from work. So I was in my work clothes and I had this plan to go drive up the hill and, you know, change into a sari, like get cleaned up and, you know, come back down the hill. And I'm coming up the driveway and Gurudev's out like in his scooter on a walk right there in my path. So I like in front of the car. So I'm just, oh no, like I don't have teal. Like I'm like not presentable. And I was so nervous and so worried. And I just park in the driveway and I get out and offer Dandavats on the driveway. And Gurudev just smiles and he just looked at me and he just asked me how I was. He just asked me how I was doing. And I responded and he was just so happy to hear how I was. And it was just so sweet and merciful. And I was so worried and it didn't matter to him because he's just all merciful and beautiful. And anyways, that was one sweet memory that came to me during the programs. But done about you all.
Wonderful. And again, we're so happy to have Bimal Krishna Prabhu for the festival. And he certainly is a graduate of BBBC in many ways. But there are people in the regular world, sometimes we call them eternal students. Like they just like studying and they just don't want to quit. They just go for, you know, not necessarily like sometimes just failing, but sometimes people just like studying. Devotees, in a way, we can say, yes, you graduated, but at the same time, we like to be the eternal students. And that's what Guru Maharaj points out. No one is master, even though I may occupy this position, this chair of the Acharya, of the master, of a guru. Still, I consider myself a student. So BBBC is not something that can be just, you know, graduated at some point after some time. It is quite eternal process. And we're quite happy to be in the class forever.
Jai. And remembering Srila Gurudev's words about to launch a rocket, to go so high, so far, you need a good launching pad. And we are to give attention to that launching pad, to make that strong. And then what our Gurudevs will put onto that launching pad, that is their grace, but we need to have that. We need to make that strong, give our attention there. And this really is the theme of the back to basics, to keep that strong. Hare Krishna. Okay, so dear devotees, we're all doing things. So Bimal Krishna was asking what we're doing all the time. We're doing things today, and devotees are coming and going, by the way, also, and day by day. So our numbers are reducing, but some will be increasing and reducing. We've got visitors coming throughout this next, well, the time that we're here. I'll be here for the next month, and continuing what we do. Always, and maybe I'll try to continue to do what we're meant to do better. This will be my attempt to myself. And Basil sending down the back. Yes, you had a different thumbnail a few minutes ago. And we saw you, Basil. Happy to see you. Okay, so dear devotees, with this emphasis on the basis of our devotional life, and our continuing to go on steadily, knowing the basics. And today, by the way, Bimal Krishna, he reminded me of something that, yes, the 10 offenses to the holy name. And today I was looking at the 10 offenses to the holy dham, because we were using the guidebook, the guide for Govardhan, Parikrama, etc., while we were like talking and talking our way, explaining the parikrama. And there, right in the front, there are the 10 offenses to the holy dham. So all these subjects we did cover very, very early on in the back to basics, but these, it's high time we revised them all. Because while I can readily say the 10 offenses to the holy name, at least, the 10 offenses to the holy Dham, maybe I can say them now with a bit of thinking, but it is maybe good for us all to look up the 10 offenses to the holy Dham. And I know it's almost a waste of time for me to give homework, but if anyone likes to do some homework, see if you can revise the 10 offenses to the holy Dham. I'll make a note and we can see how many of those offenses, whether we can readily flow them off our tongue for the next back to basics. Thank you, Bhima Krishna Babu. Okay, thank you, each of you. Wonderful having you all with us. Ganga Leela Devidasi joined us. Nadia Priya Devidasi joined us. And Dana joined us. And we're still waiting for her to join us. Don't forget, Dana, next year is the opening of the temple here. We are hoping, not sure if we're expecting, but we're hoping that you can come. If we don't expect you to come, that would maybe be good, because then you can surprise us and actually come.
I'm excited. I hope so too. Hari Bol, Hari Krishna Dandavats, everyone.
Hare Krishna. All right, dear devotees, Jai Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rakha Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Shri Rupanuga Guru Bhaga ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai. All the assembled devotees ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Vrinda ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha. Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha. Patitanam Pavanebhyo. Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Jai Shri Bhaktivedanta Madhusudana Maharaj ki Jai.
Hare Krishna. And in the meantime, don't go. The 10 offenses to the holy Dham. There you are. You can click and download. Sevarupa did is put a PDF file in the chat box. So do download it. I'm also downloading it. And we'll all do our best. And I'm going to actually try to go through them without looking at this first, because I do know them. It just needs a gentle revision. All right. There is, okay, I just saw it briefly just now. There is another 10 offenses sheet which has a keywords on it. And maybe somebody has that handy. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm going to leave from here. Maybe Leela Moipu keep the Zoom open for a little while. Sevarupa might be trying to find the 10 offenses. Maybe I can find, I'm not sure. The 10 offenses to the Dham with the keywords. Hare Krishna, I'm looking now. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, I have it. I'll put this in the chat box too. Then you've got it in two different ways. And as you know, the wording may be a little different here and there, but the main point will be this. Hare Krishna. I'm putting in the chat box now. Okay, dear devotees, have a successful Seva few days. We'll meet again soon, and don't leave, just stay forever. Dandavat, but I'm going to go. Hare Krishna. Jai. Nadia Priya, Govinda Govinda, Ashchi.
Leela Moy Prabhu.